you guys. And it's telling my followers that I am on. We're gonna wait. Oh, they done changed. Um,
Hey,
Purchase.
babe.
You're on.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hey, Van.
Hey, boo. Let me get my stuff right. Y'all know I always gotta get my stuff right when you come on. And we can just wait for a couple of people to join. I don't got my music on today.
Listen, it's all good. Welcome to everyone who has joined so far. Happy Wind Down Wednesday.
Wine down Wednesday. I ain't have my wine, but I made me a little drinky drink.
Okay, what you got?
A little like shot of Henny, some cranberry juice, and a shot of Henny, some cranberry juice, and some ginger ale.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I got some ginger ale, sipping it, getting my
Sip.
thrills. The ginger is life right now.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're waiting for some people coming on, but let's catch up. It's been a minute. How you been doing? How you been feeling? What's new with you?
Yeah.
And then we could jump into like our topics.
Life has been lifing. I have been in a space of flow, just really what does it look like for me to be present in each moment? I think I've spent a lot of time worrying, being anxious about the future, my future plans, and I was tired. So now I have a opportunity to just be present with each moment, and I've been soaking it
And that's good.
in.
I love the present with each moment thing. Like, yes, that's really important. I feel like I've learned that lesson.
Listen, because me, I'm a planner. I'm like 1+1 = 2. You know that thing where it's like 2+2 is 4 and 4+4 is 8. What the heck is this?
Yes.
I can relate. That is me all the time. So life has just shown me like, you don't
Yeah.
have a lot of control. And what you do have control over is your response to things, what you allow, what you don't allow. Those are the things where you have free will and choice. Life gone life. How has things been
Life is
for
gonna
you?
lie. Good. A lot of changes has been taking place. Like I have been really allowing myself just to be patient with the change and not try to control it. Just let it be what it is and enjoy each moment because I feel like a lot of the times I be trying to like hurry up and just like get to the good parts of things where I don't enjoy the in between, like you said, the present, being present, and I miss out on those great joy, joy that comes because I'm trying to get to the joy that I have planned in my head, and that's not the joy that God has for me.
Oh.
So I've been learning to just kind of like be patient and just enjoy the moment, like really enjoy the moment. I've been really seeing like source work and like what he can do and just really been focusing on miracles and like seeing it with my eyes. So that's been a plus. If y'all didn't know, my aunt has really been sick. She's in a hospital for 2 months now, and so it's taking a toll because we're super close with her. She's like the rock to our family, and she's my daughter's favorite aunt, my daughter's best friend. And so it's been taking a toll because she's been in a hospital unresponsive for a long time. So just getting adjusted to that. But she's up and out, honey. So things are turned around. So I'm really excited about it.
And it's the miracles because looking at that situation from the very beginning up until where it is now, those are those times where it defies human logic. It defies like your ability to say, okay, this is how this was supposed to play out. it's nothing but divine intervention. So that takes your faith to another level.
It does. Like literally, it just makes me be like laughing at myself when I was here in my house, you know, a couple of months ago. Like I should have been a whore and going through that whole phase of just things not working out. It just makes me like laugh about those things because it's kind of like, girl, just be patient. Just be patient.
Just be patient. Let me put
Hmm.
and your words.
Let's
To me, words
word
are
right.
everything. Like
Right.
words,
So
what
that's what we
you
were
say.
talking about in our
Hmm.
topic. Right. What you say. That's what we were talking about in our topic. So what was our phrase again? Because Samira came up with the phrase and I loved it. Turning our
Yes,
crowns
I
into
turn my
wands or
crown
something
into
like
a
that.
wine. I turn my crown into a wine. Child, why did you like that,
So
man?
so tell me what you mean by that, Samira, in your world, in your sense, and what you do. Tell me what that means for you.
Absolutely.
Turning your crown into a wand.
Absolutely. So, I think that for what I do, I'm a spiritual life coach, intuitive tarot reader, and it's really important for me to make magic, alchemy, being able to work with energy not so taboo. Turning my crown into a wand is I knew
Yeah.
I was powerful. I knew I was a queen. But now I understand that I actually have power associated with being a queen and with being powerful. And it's like if I just sit still and I'm like, oh, I'm a queen, but I don't do nothing with that power, what does it matter?
But right. Yeah. If you don't do know with that power, what does it matter?
It doesn't.
It right. It doesn't matter at all. So I feel the same way. Um, for me, I kind of feel like for being a life coach, focusing on like mindset, co-parenting, finding your purpose. For me, it's just being able to lay out the steps that's going to define, like to find your success or my client's success, and just being able to let them get out of their own head and kind of realize like turning your crown into a wand is basically saying that you can literally have everything that you want,
You can.
that you literally can just attract things. You know, we not, you know, like I think I might have said this before, Meek Mill's dream chasers, but really we got it backwards. We're not chasing.
Mm-mm.
We attracting everything that's supposed to come to us. So I kind of feel like that's what it's about. Like when it comes to life coaching for me, it's like really letting people tap into their real self love so they can manifest and adore the life that they want. You know what I'm saying? Adore their life. Like that's what it's about for me. What does that look like for you as far as like for your day to day and like with your clients?
Absolutely. So I'm really big on word sound power. I'm really big on affirmations, creating from what you actually speak. So when you talked
Yeah.
about planning, I'm really big on not I will have or I plan to, I am, I have, and really being confident in those types of statements. I call the work that I do with a lot of people completely teaching them back up. I call the work that I do with people them unlearning, like different ways that they curse themselves, different ways that they subconsciously block what needs to happen in their lives. If you approach anything in your life, and it's like, well, maybe one day,
Mm.
I hope so, then God, the universe, your ancestors are going to respond with, well, maybe. Do you feel worthy? I hope
Right.
so.
Right.
Maybe. And I think for me, it's really important to start with the foundation. So turning your crown into a wine is really learning how does this wine work? One thing that is important is intention, how you use your words. You're
Mm-hmm.
human. You're going to have thoughts. You're human. You're going to have experiences that make you feel depleted. You may be like, I should have been a whore. Like, whatever that is, that's a
Right.
human reaction. But with that same energy, you have to come back in with your word sound power and make sure that you're balancing out that energy when it comes to manifesting and setting intentions.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. That's kind of like where I work with my clients on. Like those positive affirmations, like you said, relearning who you really are, not what we were taught or what your faith may be or what you thought your faith was. Like really learning who you are and learning the power in you is kind of like how I feel it. Like you have to literally get in and adore yourself and adore figuring out like how does, like you said, how does my wand work? How do I turn this thing on? Okay. And so like yeah, those affirmations are also awesome. For me, I like really working on that self doubt that we play in our head. You might not say it out loud, but in our head, we might be like, is this really going to work? Or, oh, this is not going to work. Or, I want this, or this can work, but we just kind of like talked about that earlier, not adding that extra plus to the sentence. Like, and I feel that same way when it comes to like apologies too. This might be a little bit awful. Like when you're apologizing to someone, when someone says I apologize, but to me, that's like a slap in my fucking face.
But what?
But what?
But
Because
what?
you're supposed to be apologizing. So if you're really apologizing and taking accountability for what you did or how you made me feel, it's no but in it at all. So it's kind of like using that same thought process with yourself. Like, I'm great. There's no but in it. I'm gorgeous. And there's no but in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm smart. I can do anything. There's no but. There's no oh, but none of that comes with that. It's just a period. That's why we say period, Pooh. Period. Okay.
Ooh, and what you just said made me think of something. A lot of times, like on a subconscious level, it's really supporting people and understanding like if what you want is really your desire. Or is it a response to something that somebody told you couldn't have? Is it a response to trauma? Is it a response to limiting beliefs that were
Yes.
passed down to you? I remember, this is a super transparent story, but I remember my first heartbreak. And after that heartbreak, I started going hard. Like I was on it. I was going to the gym every day. I was just so motivated to prove to that person that I didn't need you. I'm going to step out of this better, more beautiful than ever. Like that was my motivator. And I realized that a lot of the decisions that I have made in my life since I've been an adult have been from, oh, I'm going to prove to them, I'm going to show them. And it's like, if that's what's motivating you, then you in trouble because it's not really what you want. So a lot of times, like that's something else that I have to get really honest with the people that I work with. Now you're saying that you want to, have a BMW, super random. You want to have a BMW, but at the end of the day, you might really like SUVs. You might really like something else, but the fact that your cousin's cousin had it and told you that you wasn't gonna ever have it, now all of a sudden that's your purpose, that's your motivation, and we can't allow that type of stuff to lead us. Like,
Yeah.
and I see it
Yeah.
all the time. Oh, so you gonna stun on them, like memes and stuff.
Yeah.
You're taking it back for the people who said you couldn't have it. Fuck them.
Yeah, they don't matter because all that matters is you, baby. That's all that matters. So I know I totally agree with you on that. Like just knowing that, just not trying to keep up with the Joneses. Remember when your mama and your grandma and them be like, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. And you know what? In the society today, it's so hard to not do that because you have these phones that you look at every 5 minutes. You got Facebook, you got everything, and it can get kind of hard to not keep up with society or keep up with the Joneses or whatever. But when you start really unlocking who you are, it don't matter. It don't matter who you
No.
lose, who you lose in a situation, who you cut off. Like all it matters is what makes you happy in you. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Like the whole BMW and you doing that for your auntie, cousin, brother, like that's not gonna work.
It's not. And then like people get frustrated because it's like, oh, Myra, I burnt the candle or I set my intentions. And it's like the universe responds to what's for real. If you
Yeah.
don't want to say the universe, God knows your heart. your ancestors understand what's in your blood, what's going to be best for you. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where that is a really honest place to be in. But you said something, and I think it's a great segue into a next topic for us. So
Okay.
you mentioned looking online, seeing people appear in certain ways. Let's talk about that when it comes to spirituality. Like, have you ever felt like you've seen people practicing spirituality and they are perpetuating that it's supposed to look a certain kind of way?
Yeah. All the time. They feel like I know people who feel like you gotta have the dreads, you gotta be so woke, and you gotta have and all of that. Like, you can't be a pretty girl, baddie, whatever, video vixen and stuff. And you know what I'm saying, practice spirituality, but it'd be crazy because when you look at the popular girls, the it girls on Instagrams, the Aries, the Jadas, the Lyra Galores, if you look at Ari, that's her practice, spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister owns a basically like a company where you can get self-care things in a box that basically helps you with spirituality. So, you know, you be looking at these video vixens, you look at people, you have no clue
What they do.
what they do, what they're into, and you're just looking at it like, oh, she's a material girl, got your nana boo.
I feel like
But
you and I are living witnesses of that because we practice like our spirituality for a long time. Kind of, it was ours. Like I remember us
yeah,
traveling and going to the club, getting oiled up with our ocean oil and
right.
just not paying for nothing, tapping into like the
Tapping in,
energy.
and then that's what you don't
Yeah,
understand
people
because you be
don't.
done tapped in,
Mhm.
okay? Oh, but no, yeah, that's definitely true. Like, I feel like people think that it has to look like something or you got to look a certain way, but I feel like you said earlier, that's just really um the beliefs of what we were taught
Mhm.
things supposed to look like. Like, even Christianity, you were taught you gotta go to the church. You gotta have on your dress. You gotta dress nice. You gotta have your Sunday gear. You gotta have all of this right until they started saying, "Come as you are."
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the times, like my dad, like he's always been into spirituality, and he was just like, I don't like to go to church because I want to wear my jeans and my t-shirt.
Am
You know
I going to
what
be
I'm saying?
uncomfortable? Can I receive? And it's crazy because I was thinking about doing, Amaretta is not Atlanta. I was thinking about doing, it's not spirituality, like crystals, dreads, posting certain things to make yourself look whoa. If you're not walking that stuff, then what's the point? And I think also like the spirituality that is highlighted on social media neglects what's human. It neglects the shadow side. If you are loving light, positive vibes, everything around me is toxic, that's not for real and it's not going to sustain you. If
No.
you are, oh, I gotta appear this certain kind of way to be spiritual, what happens when you in the club and somebody fly, walk up on you and you want to indulge in your lower chakras? Because these are all just energy systems. You gotta
Right.
work your sacral, you gotta work your root. So all of this down here gotta be pleased too. So it's
Right.
like, what happens when you're in those kind of situations? You're not sustained because you're looking
Yeah.
at, oh, this is what high priestess look like. High
It,
priestess avoiding shit. High priestess not being honest with you about how she just kirked out and lost it because some shit didn't go right in her house.
mm,
Like, I could go on and on
no.
topic because
No.
I
No.
see it too often and all of that stuff is not Atlanta.
It's
Period.
it's
It's
not
not.
Atlanta. It's not Atlanta. And it goes back to, like, even if you don't get it, like, even if you're a newcomer to spirituality and you just want me to keep it on some real, it comes back down to you. How are you honoring you? You know what I'm saying? How are you keeping it real with you? Like, a lot of people I be hearing a lot of things about me like, oh, you too high mighty or you might be bougie. But that's because that's what you think you see.
Yeah.
But when you really get to know me, you be like, she cool as hell, she fun, she a breeze, she a good time. And then when you be like, oh, you into spirituality too, it be like, what? I wasn't expecting that. How wasn't you expecting that?
What did
How?
you think?
What
Girl,
did
my
you
favorite song, if in the people, my homegirl Brittany dropped down. And like she can vouch for this in the comments. Like back in the day, that Mary Mary, it's the God in me.
me?
Girl, I used to drop it out that shit in the club because I felt it. What is it that you think you see when you see me?
Yeah, when
You
you
don't
see
know how much
me.
I prayed. You don't know how much I gave. You don't know. And people used to always trip and be like, Tamara, that is not a twerk song, but it
Yes,
moved
it
me.
is. And you know what? It is. And just because you twerk don't mean that you're not spiritual or
Mm-mm.
like this, like what people really have to understand. And I just told a client this the other day. She was just like, well, what if I was like, and I say this to you, there's no rules to this shit.
It's
There's
not.
no rules to this.
I love every time
That
you
is,
say that, I hear it in your voice. Not I hear it in your voice, like I reflect on it exactly how you say it because it's not. And that's about the wand. You make your own
yes.
rules.
You make your own rules. You do what makes you happy. And those that matter don't mind. And those that mind don't matter. And that's just what it's about. Yes, my twerk shakes the devil off, baby. You feel me?
Period.
Because I feel like, honey, shake, shake, shake. Look, shake the devil off, twerking that thing. You hear me?
Yes.
For
Like
real.
it used to just, and I feel like people don't understand spirituality is freedom. And that's something else that I run into. And you tell me if this is something that you experience. You get in with somebody, I need you to tell me what to do. I just want to feel better.
Yeah, no, that's
So
not,
you
yes.
start asking questions, what do you want?
Yeah.
And people aren't taught to really speak their heart's desires. We're
Mm-hmm.
taught that, whatever this religious organization is, be grateful for what you get. Be in a place where it's like, oh, I accept the good with the bad.
Yeah.
That's what our ancestors did. They
And that,
didn't have a choice. They had to hide what they practiced, what they believed in. And many of them weren't really about that shit either. They was in the background, pulling up roots, working little conjures, but they had to look a certain way in order to can you see me? Did it go
yeah, no,
out?
I can see you. You
Okay.
kind of laugh.
I don't
You're
know.
back in, yeah. You're good.
But it's like one of those things where they literally, practice and they did these things. But for us, we're like, oh, Big Mama was a Christian and she just kind of accepted whatever. But I bet you after Big Mama combed your hair, she burnt that hair. She didn't just leave your shit just out. These small little rituals. She put salt in the corner. She did all of these things that still appeal to what she knew, the roots and the camouflage and how they had to do it. And secretly was like, oh, well, I'm a Christian. I'm this and this. We don't have to do that now.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do that at all. And one of the things that I asked, like when and you, because you was like, do you run into that all the time? And just talking about it on like a practical, mindset with it, like, I ask my clients all the time, what does happiness look like for you? Because they want to get in the session and they're like, oh, I just want to be happy or whatever. Well, how are you prioritizing happiness right now? If
Mm-hmm.
that's what you really want. So let's really get down to what you really want. Do you really want to be happy or do you want to just put on the facade that you happy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be Facebook famous, Instagram famous? Do you want to just look like you got it together? Do you want to look rich or do you want to be rich? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Those are the questions that I break it down to because people don't understand. We have to prioritize being happy.
Yes.
What does that look like for you? It's like for me, being happy is literally being at peace, not having to think about anything, being able to just relax and enjoy life and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy myself. I've learned how to be happy with me. I feel like if I could be happy with me, I could be happy with anybody.
That's real. Happiness for me is freedom. Like,
Yes.
type of person where maybe it's the air sign in me, I don't know, but I don't like restrictions. So I
Mm-hmm.
need to be able to float and flow. And I remember setting intentions for what I wanted my life to look like. And I kept it as simple as I want freedom. And
Right.
with that, I'm grateful because I was able to really hone in on what I wanted for real. And then I watched how everything conspired to bring me that. Whether
Yeah.
it was freedom, with my finances, freedom in my relationships, freedom to just accept things for what they are, just not being restricted. So it's like
Right.
those things will literally start to pour in and manifest themselves in a lot of different ways when you're truly honest about what really has me agitated.
It, what really has me agitated?
Mm-hmm.
It what really is, and I really, 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 really love that, cause that's just kind of like we that's kind of like we ignore our feelings all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So then you really can't really tap into what makes you feel agitated or what's bothering you because we ignore our feelings. That's why I kind of be liking like I just kind of been on this vibe to Myra where it's like I'm not sparing people no more.
No.
I'm not sparing you. And it's this verse in Moneybag Yo song on one of his, I'm a rap, I'm a trapper. And he said, we just gotta get to the point where we just gotta get back to where we start checking people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at with it. I'm not sparing you no more. And I feel like it doesn't have to be disrespectful. I don't gotta cuss you out. I don't gotta do none of that, but I could just check you at the door. So then you know not to play with me.
Yeah.
A lot of times we let people just play with us. We give people chances after chance to say whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we hold them to a hierarchy because they might be a family member or they might be a friend you might have been friends with them for so long. They've been so loyal. So you just let them slide. You just let
Mm-hmm.
them slide with how they say stuff to you, to what they say, and all that. And then you're wondering why you're left depleted, or you're wondering why you can't get respect. It's like I shouldn't have never let you slide then. I let you play with me. And so like that's what I mean. Like you gotta teach people how to treat you. You let somebody slide, they're gonna be a slippery slided slope on your ass. Like that's just what they're gonna
Child,
do.
listen, and then you mess around and you deal with somebody who kind of sick like me. To my people who read tarot, the Queen of Swords, like I, I'm learning to educate you. I'm
Yeah.
learning to do that. But for me, I will literally be like, "Oh, bet you
Mm-hmm.
don't support me. You don't give a fuck about what I got going on. I don't support you. I don't give a fuck what you got going on." And I remove my energy. And I think me and you have talked about this a lot. And I think what it is I understand my worth. I understand what I bring to friendships. I understand what
Yes.
I bring to relationships. Like I'm the type of person, I'm gonna hype you, inspire you, teach you, support you. I'm gonna do all of these things. So it's like with me understanding my value and what I bring to the table, I really don't have time to go
No.
back and forth
No.
with it.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I feel like a lot of times too, people be knowing.
People be knowing. People be knowing. And you're right. Like it's all about like the worth of it because it's kind of like once you really see your worth, and I explain it to my clients like this all the time. It was explained to me like this, and it was the best way for me to like just think of it on a more simpler note. Like the energy, everything that you give, you're Duke energy. You're literally Duke energy in people's life. And
Yeah.
just imagine if you come home and that Duke energy just cut off and it's
You
just
gonna feel that shit.
you gonna feel that, and
That
it's dark. It's very dark for them. You give them light. You provide light whatever way you do it. If you're hyping, you giving them tips, you giving them tricks, you just being who you are the light. Literally, I'm a Leo, the sun. Like, if I know my worth, I'm not gonna allow you to play with me because I know that I'm Duke energy to you and you cannot live without me.
no. And I feel like understanding, even you saying, I know I'm Duke energy, you can't live without me. A lot of people like with if they not at a certain place with hear us say that and feel like, oh, who the fuck they think they are. But
Yeah.
the person who's on the right. The person who has literally committed their life to looking at ways that they can unlearn, improve, looking at ways that they
Do
could
the
walk
work.
more and authentically from their heart. That's who. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's nothing to really, you know, go back and forth about. And I feel like when it comes to magic, when it comes to tapping into spirituality, self-worth, self-love is like up to here. I just told somebody today, you can burn candles all day long, but if you don't believe that you're worthy of whatever it is you're asking for, if you don't even believe it's gonna work, what's the point? The candle
It,
ain't really nothing. The candle is you physically doing something to this
yeah, setting
element.
your
It's your
attention on
intention.
that. Exactly. And that's exactly how it is. It's like it takes the whole saying know your worth to a whole nother level. Because even if somebody, like you said, may not be on that same mind frame, like you're saying, where they're like, who do you think you are? Well, aren't you the same person who's left depleted out of after all of your relationships, regardless if it's platonic, a sister, whatever? And
Mm-hmm.
aren't you the person who's left depleted? You feel like no one looks out for you, no one does any. You doing everything for them. The takers are going to take.
They are. They
They're going to
are.
take. And
And
if
it's
you're a
nothing
giver, you're gonna
noble.
give.
Yeah. It's nothing noble about suffering. That's some religion
Yeah.
shit. Like, oh, I suffered long. And child, this is controversial, but I don't care. When people be like, what would Jesus do? That's sick. I know Jesus is tired. I know Jesus is tired of like that energy of, oh, died on the cross for my sins, took everything from me. There is a lack of accountability there. So it's like what religion has done has literally taught us how to be polarized and not be for real. And I
Mm-hmm.
was working with someone today and I said, every time you are getting an earful from somebody, they're giving you all of their sob stories and stuff. I want you to ask yourself, if I had these same sob stories, would they listen? 9 times out of 10, they wouldn't. So like this, it's noble. It's the right thing for
To
me
do.
to
Yeah.
do this. You're not Jesus.
Yeah, you're not. And like I said, there's no rules to it. So it's noble and all of that. Like, if God is a forgiving God, right?
But it's
Isn't
like it's
that a
still
contradictory to that?
accountability. Yeah,
Right.
it's still accountability. I think people hear forgiveness and they think, oh, forgiveness, wipe the slate clean. But what
Yeah.
comes with forgiveness is accountability. How is the other person saying, okay, this is where I had a lapse in judgment. This is where I didn't own the situation. I
Mm-hmm.
see my part in it.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is not constantly just being like, oh, it's okay, without accountability. What that leads to is resentment. It leads
Yep.
to the other person being entitled. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a bad situation, and I feel like this goes back.
It does. It goes back to a lot of things that we have to learn how to detach ourselves and our mind from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of things that happen like when I'm in my coachings and all of that. It's like we got to work on that mindset because you're not grasping, you know what I'm saying, that you have to take accountability for the life that you created. And that can be hard when you don't think that you're wrong, when
Mm-hmm.
you don't think that anything you do is wrong, you don't think the way you say things are wrong, nothing. It took my man to tell me one it took my man, you know what I'm saying, to tell me one time. He was like, being your friend is tough. I was like, what you mean? Like, what you talking about? He was like, because you can say stuff so roughly. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, they my friends. They know how I'm like. They know how I am. Like they shouldn't take it like that. He was like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it took me a day or so. I slept on it, and I was like, you're right. Maybe my tone and delivery can be better because what I'm saying might be wonderful, but if my tone and delivery is not right, then it's going to be hard for them to receive what I'm saying. And then that's how we get that problem. You know how, well, my dad used to always say, you don't have a problem with the message, you have a problem with the messenger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of times, when for me, it's being hard on other people. Like my expectations are like, well, I wouldn't do you like that, so you better not do me like that. But
Exactly.
I realized though, I was hard on myself. So
Yeah.
you hard on yourself, or when you maybe speak to yourself harsh, when you maybe your internal dialogue is a little bit
Yeah.
harsher, you're so used to taking it. You're so
Yeah.
used to moving in that way where it's like this is normal, but it's not.
It's
And
yeah.
for me, it was learning, tomorrow you don't have to be so hard on you, which translated into me not being so hard on other people. Taking them
Yeah.
for where it is, having detachment, having the freedom to say, okay, well, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
okay. Hold on. Mika said, it's so hard to navigate a person who lacks accountability. It can be draining.
Yes. It can be very much draining, especially when they like especially when you have it laid on a platter for them of what has been done. You know what I'm saying? You done basically made a whole diagram. Cause I'm the type of person that like when I'm trying to prove my point to you, I'm gonna come with the examples.
Mm.
Cause people be forgetting. So you know, I'll be like, you know what? And this is what I say. This is a tip for you. When it's somebody that's like that doesn't know how to like, they lack accountability. That's why it's important to come with your examples.
Mm-hmm.
So when they start doing things, and I tell my clients is keep a knowledge of it. Put it in your notes in your phone. Boom, we argued this week. Boom, we argued that week. But now you're looking at it and you're able to see, damn, we done argued every day for 4 weeks, for a month, we done argued. So now when you're having that, you're confronting that person or you telling that person, hey, this is becoming too much for me. It's becoming too overwhelming, for me or whatever. And they were like, what you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me pull out my notes for you. This week we argued about this, and you said you was gonna do X, Y, and Z, and you didn't do that. So then we argued about it again. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Now you're confronting them. Well, what can I do?
Yep.
They
And
can't
for
deny it.
me,
Exactly.
it's like now at this point, because I'm in my head, I feel like you're manipulating me. I
Yep.
feel like you're gaslighting. I
Yep.
feel like you have really serious character flaws where you are almost jeopardizing my mental health and
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to harm me. Like I
Exactly.
remember, oh my God, I wish Jody was on this, but I remember him and I was going through separate breakups and we both Scorpio moons, just like you and I.
Yeah.
And no, he a Scorpio sun, but we was sitting there and I was like, oh, this motherfucker hate me.
Yeah.
And when I had that epiphany, because that's what it be. Like, I'm one of those people be jealous. It don't matter if you date them. People be
Yeah.
jealous of you. They be jealous of your light. They want to manipulate. They want to play with you mentally, drive you insane so you can be
Mm-hmm.
crazy like them. And for me,
Yeah.
I tell my clients all the time, name the poison.
Yeah.
Name the poison.
Put
Give
it
the example,
out
but name
there.
the poison. Say what this really is. And I think that I have been blessed with this ability to see things from a bird eye view. So like I
Mm-hmm.
see exactly what it is. Like I'm not gonna play with you. You're not
Yeah.
crazy. You're not, disconnected from what's going on. Like you are literally in a place where you are accustomed to me entitling you. And that's where it comes back to how are you responsible for the reality you created?
Exactly.
Because a
Exactly.
lot of times it's not just, oh, this is constantly happening to me. What have you enabled?
What monster did you create?
Yeah.
Because that's what you did. You created a monster because you was not able to call the poison, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, and just call them out on their shit, hold them accountable, and you know what I'm saying, let them know like, hey, I'm not feeling this and this is just what it is. And then that's setting that boundary, because
Mm-hmm.
see, then you get to the point where you can start calling them out, but then you don't know how to do the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because
know what I'm saying?
people think, oh, I set a boundary, and once you say it one time, that's my boundary. No, one thing
No.
you have said, and I love every time you say this, Vanity, it's not about setting a boundary, it's about reinforcing it. That's the real
Yes.
work. How do
That's
you
the real
reinforce
work.
boundaries?
Yeah, that's the real work, reinforcing it, because people gonna try. Like we done said, the takers they gonna try you to the end.
They
They
will.
gonna try. They gonna try to get away with whatever. But when you start going ahead and reinforcing that straight up, they already know. Like I said, not to play with you. I'm not gonna even play with her because she already gone. She knows every time I ask her, I say it in different ways. She give me the same answer. I'm not even about to play with her.
Ooh, I got a question for you. What's your take on this? So you name the poison, call the person out, you're reinforcing your boundaries, and they just get downright nasty with you. So like they're going for the jugular. They're speaking to your insecurities. They're speaking to things that have been a challenge for you. Like, what is that like for you? Like, how do you handle like volatile situations where you're doing it? Because
Yeah,
everybody ain't gonna just lay down
they
and be like,
not.
oh,
So
you said what you
boom.
said.
Back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day before I had got my spiritual awakeness, I would have went ahead and went up beside your head.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. But you know what? I've learned, me being a Leo, there's power in my silence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I get you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about to argue with you. I'm not about to go back and forth. I'm not about like I said, my man, he'd say all the time, I hate when you leave me on red.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just do the thumbs up on a like you thumb it up. It's power in my silence. I'm not about to go back and forth with you, especially if I know that you're trying to manipulate the situation, because you're not gonna. I call it a mind fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You're not about to mind fuck me. You're not about to make me think that I'm not, like, I'm wrong in this situation, or start questioning myself, or thinking I'm slow, or, oh my God, did I look at it right? You're not about to have me having all this anxiety. Now I'm overthinking the situation because you playing. You're trying to mind fuck me. So when I don't say anything, that's, to me, that's the power. It's the power in my silence.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm ready to talk to you, I'm going to be able to come, because I don't know, like some people, I'm not always a good person where when someone's like coming at me, I have like the best comeback.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it takes me a moment to like process. You know how you get into it with a person and then you hang up, you be like, damn, I should have said that. Like, that be me.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've learned is when I give them that silence, and when I'm able to just like give them that power of me being silent, I'm able to go ahead in my mind, address, like get it all out. So when I come to them, honey, I'm dressing X, Y, Z, everything you done said to me, and you can't come back for that. You gotta own your shit or get on.
I agree. And this is making me think about a book that you and I have shared that we love, which is The Four Agreements.
Oh, yeah.
And I think sometimes we can know something is inappropriate. We can know something is volatile, emotionally just not okay. And we kind of want to be responsible for that person's experience through it as well.
Yeah.
And I think like understanding that nothing anybody ever does is really because of you. And with that being said, it's like, it's not your business. So once it starts to impact you, disrupt your life, you really have to say, okay, that's them and this is me.
Yeah.
And I don't care who it is. Like, I remember people used to be like, one of my friends, and she's not a friend anymore, but an acquaintance, she was like going through a marriage and it was horrible. And she was like, well, we're one person. Whatever she does, I do this, and this. And it's like, that's crazy. That's before I was even married. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Because if you're going through a shadow moment, I feel like the part of partnership is for me to be able to be in my light, do what I need to do.
Right.
I'm going through my shadow. The purpose is for you to be in your light, do what you do. But if you're constantly trying to meet people and go through emotional experience with them and be responsible for their work, it's not going to be okay. If you have not read The Four Agreements, I scream from the rooftop, read that book, because a lot of the things that we think about relationships, our life, the stories that we tell ourselves are just fallacies.
Yeah. Yeah, The Four Agreements is like literally changed my life. It really helped me get into knowing myself. But I want to, because you know my memory bad, child. So I want to jump back when you said something like, oh my God, it sparked something in me, because I hate when people be like, oh, this is my better half. Well, what about your half?
Yeah, it's two whole people.
Yeah, like,
it.
Yeah,
Girl,
let me introduce you to my better half. So
when
this
I'm
person
weak,
just made,
she's
that's
strong.
you. So you just don't care about your half, huh?
Right.
Like, I hate when people say that. So when you was talking about that, that sparked that for me, because it's like I would never want to introduce somebody as this is my better half when I want to show up 100% me at my best. No, I'm 100% me, and this is 100% them,
And we become
and
a force to work together.
together.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Brittany. Yes. Read it. Pop it
Read
open.
that book,
It's
Brittany.
a
It's a
easy
game
read,
changer.
and it is a game changer. And I think that it takes a lot of the drama. How can spirituality fix me? How can I do something to feel better? For you to understand, you just need to simply be and unlearn a lot of things that you've been conditioned to think or believe.
Yeah. And his whole collections are good. Like, I'm going back now and rereading The Mastery of Love.
Yes.
And even in that book, like, he talks about, like, a lot of people, like, he breaks it down so good in the book if you haven't read it. But it's the part in the book where he talks about, like, when you say you're trying to manifest your partner, right? And you manifest, say, I'm going to just keep it, like, simple, because I think he uses a scenario. You want a cat. You want a cat, but you get a dog instead of the cat. But now you're sitting here trying to make that dog become a cat.
And it's like, it don't work like that.
And it don't work like that. Know who you are, so then that person can know who they are. So y'all, like you said, you can come together and be that force. But a lot of the times we as women and men too get so caught up with trying to change or make a person be what we want them to be. And it kind of like triggers something for me. Like, I remember talking to you about common sense. Common sense is really not that common. So it's kind of like, for me, it's like learning to accept people for who they really are. Because once I accept you for who you really are, you can no longer control me anymore.
No.
Because you no longer can trigger me because I accept you for who you are. If you ain't shit, I accept you for you not being shit. But now your shitty ways can no longer control me because I'm accepting you for who you are. Now, if I decide to keep you and your shit in my life, that's on me. Because you done already revealed to me that you shitty.
And I think that's another thing. When I talk about intuition, I talk about intuition so much because that inner knowing, trusting that first hunch, trusting what it is, it's not for you to get upset. It's not for you to shut down. It's not for you to feel fear. It's more so like, I'm giving you this. I'm showing you what it is. Now you have the opportunity to decide how you want to maintain the situation in your life, what you don't want, what you do want. And I think with that acceptance, I see people kind of stop at that point where it's like, okay, finally I get it. It's been driven home. Now that I've accepted who you are, you just have to linger around.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes
Means
separate.
detaching.
Yeah, and
Yes, accepting someone, and when it's not good for you, and like you said, you have your intuition and all the red flags are there.
mm-hmm.
Like accepting somebody for who they are and loving yourself in them. Because if you say you love you and you say you love them so much, then you're going to be able to love them enough to let them go. And that's where the real work starts. I know we had talked about people don't want to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
The work is ugly.
It is. Oh my God.
The work is it's not lashes and braids and the designer, and it's none of that. The work is ugly because you really start looking in the mirror and starting to look at your demons.
It's
starting to look
truthful.
at starting to look at the monsters that you created
Mm-hmm.
by allowing people to play with you or do whatever they want to. So yeah, like, shit's crazy.
It is. And I also feel like when saying that the work is ugly, I like to preference that it's not something that is going to leave you debilitated. Like
Yeah,
where you can't
yeah.
get up, you can't move. That's another meme that floats around social media where it's like, oh, they didn't tell me that my spiritual awakening would look up like this and the person's hair twitched to the
Yeah,
side.
no.
And it's not that. It's more so just being at a place of real, authentic honesty with yourself and not feeling like you have to wear a mask in order to camouflage what you really feel or what you really think, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be confronting.
It
That's
is.
really confronting because
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to be the victim in the story anymore. You don't get to be the villain in the story anymore. You get to see everybody's point of view, and that is really different.
Yeah, that's definitely really like, sorry, that's definitely really different. And it's definitely like, kind of like, you're not going to, like you said, you're not going to be able to be that villain in the story anymore. And you're not going to be able to just allow things to just go on that you allow, that you do to
Mhm.
yourself. So it's really that work, like you said, you know, changing the wording, changing how you talk to yourself, changing how you view yourself, forgiving yourself, not allowing people to come to you with the old you, because you change
Right,
every 2 minutes. You know, I wasn't the same person I was before we got on this live now.
right,
I've learned so much already. So it's like, you can't come to me with the past me and try to make me feel guilty with that. That don't work no more, because I know my triggers. There's nothing that you can't tell me about me that I haven't confronted already, that I haven't got down and dirty with myself about. So now you can't make me feel guilty about me.
right. And I feel like the people who try to make you feel guilty, that comes out in ways like, oh, you're fake. You
Right.
bitch, you changed.
You
Well,
switched up.
yeah, it's like, why didn't you? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, if we're still the same people who we were from 10 years ago, that's a problem.
Exactly. And that's how it be. Like, if you still holding on to grudge, now I ain't gonna lie to Myra, because my life, you know, God is still working on me. It's still some bitches that I will smack. It's still, now I won't smack them, like, you know what I'm saying? I will be minding my business. But they got one little, you know, wind to blow my direction, and I'm
Right.
gonna smack their ass. Okay, now I can't say that, because God is working on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I said, I've learned how to mind my business, so I'm not out there looking for the smack either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even if the girl's in my territory, I ain't even trying to get you to the smack level.
Mm-hmm.
But just know you got one, and bitch, I might smack your ass.
What
Okay,
I've
that's just it.
noticed in walking in this path and really being intentional about who I am, what I offer, I can think of, and I don't know if this person out here, if they are, then you know I'm talking about you, but whatever. I can think of one person in particular, like if you had told me 10 years ago that this person would be able to see my content, see me, know what I offer, know what I do, I would be like, you lying like hell. Like,
Right.
this situation was horrible. Like, it was dead, 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 dead. And I think for me, I really do operate in discernment. And I understand that sometimes life teaches, humbles, expands your awareness, that type of thing. And I like to give myself and other people that grace when I can. And
Yeah.
this one person, like, they may go back and look at this, girl. If you see this, inbox me so we can talk. But if you had told me that we would be liking each other's stuff, or that she would be inquiring about my services or promoting my services, I would be like, nah.
No.
I can tell from a place of discernment that life has brought things full circle.
Circle.
And I'm taking my time with it. I wouldn't just be like, oh, we back how we was. But I see it and I recognize it. And I think for me, that is another thing that has taught me another level of self-forgiveness and forgiveness for other people, because I really didn't know how to do that. I've been the kind of person where you cross me, you cut me, it's death to you forever. But a lot of times people do things and
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it's not like if you cross me and you do that, it's death for me forever. But it's more like, once a snake, always a snake. Like, my mom always said it to me. Like, there's no way you can dress the snake up. You can make it pretty, make, you know, dress it up and make it real fun. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Future. You can do all of that, but that's how I've always viewed a lot of things. But I have learned to let go, like literally let go, because if I don't let go, then that gives that person the power to, because it's like it's been moments where I've looked at certain people and I'd be like, oh my God, they're obsessed with me.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I had to get real with myself. Well, if they're obsessed with you, or if they're always this X, Y, Z, that's because you allowed it.
Right.
You allowed them to be obsessed. You allowed them to play with your mind. You
Yeah.
allowed them to do all of that. So that's why I had to learn to let go and literally let God on these hoes, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, the
You know
thing
how I can
is,
be.
like, every situation is delicate and different, because I would be being dishonest if I said at some point I wasn't a snake.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
not that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I can think
Mm-hmm.
of foul shit that I did as a young person, and different,
Mm-hmm.
lies that I told, just trying to be cool, to be,
Right. Get in,
accepted.
whatever.
And it's one of those things where it's a very slippery slope, because we're all on this journey of learning, unlearning, learning, unlearning, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody's exempt from that.
Yep, nobody is, but I don't give a fuck. That's not, I don't care. Like nobody is, but at the same time, like I gotta set my boundaries. I can't let people
Mm-hmm.
play with me. So it's like once you're a snake, yeah, you can like learn and be better. But if I see that you're still doing those same things, like,
Yeah, that's different.
because that's the thing,
Still
people
slither.
dress it up and make it look like they've done the
Yeah.
work. That's what I mean. Like they dress it up and make it look like they've done the work, and then when you start back talking to them, they still the same
Oh yeah.
person.
That happens a lot. And especially when you are a coach, you're intuitive, you're able to have discernment and get past the surface. Spirit allows you to be able to see with your third eye.
Exactly.
So for me, like, I guess knowing that I'm armed with
And protect it.
that sight and that ability to not be so,
Aggressive upfront with it,
and I
because
and I
like you
trust.
said,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
life's gonna
trust.
humble you anyway, and that's
Yeah.
how I look at it. Like whatever you're living is because life humbled you, just
Yeah.
like it humbled me.
I trust my intuition, and I trust my ability to see with all three eyes. And when you trust
Yeah.
that, you can literally be in the face of a lion, not a lion, be in the face of a snake or something low vibrational, a demon, whatever, and you
Mm-hmm.
can clearly see. I know it's been times where people have walked past me and I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's something different. Something else is operating through this. So when you looking at it, you like, okay, I see what's
Mm-hmm.
going on.
I see. I'm picking up what you putting down or whatever, and I'm getting it. I totally agree. But I feel like we had some good conversations today. We talked about we're just a lot of things with love, self, just knowing your worth, self-love, spirituality, how to basically turn your wine into your crown into a wine and work your magic. So you guys, like, I really want y'all to start dropping some topics that y'all want us to talk about in the comments, so we can like start talking about those, undressing those things. It can be literally anything, controversy, music, anything that you're feeling like you want to talk about and you want to kind of get our point of view in. Definitely drop it in the comments. Let us know, because eventually we're going to be trying to take this live to YouTube, and y'all gonna have to catch it on there. So definitely don't forget to drop what you want us to talk about in the comments.
And
So Myra,
share this. I believe, like, after we get done, we keep it up. If you feel like this conversation resonates with your friends, your sister, your brother, your mama, whoever, share this with them. If you're interested in adoring your life and getting coaching from Adore Your Life Coaching, tap in. If you're interested in connecting with me, Intuitive Talks with Myra, tap in. This is the opportunity for you all to see how we roll, how we connect, our mindsets. But it's not just about Wind Down Wednesday. We really want to help you tap into your power and really turn your crown into a wand as well.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Y'all can make sure that y'all are following both of us on social media. Tamara does readings, candle work, all kind of things. So tap into her if you're looking for that. If you're looking for co-parenting, y'all, co-parenting is so important. I'm going to be dropping more things just surrounding co-parenting, all of that as well. So if y'all need help with that, reach out to me, let me know, mindset and all that as well. And just make sure you adore your life, Samira.
Yes. Stay intuitive, stay cosmic. You know, I like the people who like to go to Pluto.
You
If
feel
you're a star
I go to the
seed,
moon, baby. I go
yeah,
to the moon.
if you with the shits, you know where to find me. And this has been awesome.
Awesome sauce. Well, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to share it. You guys, share it on your story. Let us know what we can do better, what we're doing great at, because we're going to YouTube with this soon, and we want y'all to follow us over there. So thank y'all. Peace out. Have a nice one.
Please have a good one.